2 finale in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast, Series 2 finale. Okay. I am one of your co-hosts, the comedian portion, Josh Young. I keep forgetting it sometimes, but now I remembered for the Series 2 finale. That's my name. And my co-host,
Lucas John Ng, the actor. And legit, though, you sometimes forget the proper pronunciation of your last name.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to change. As with society, it takes time and effort in order to adjust to this new dynamic of the Ungs. The Ung, we shall rise, and we shall claim our birthright in your mouths. Okay. But yeah. So welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It's the podcast where two creatives talk about the process of making it. And we have been talking about it for 2 years now. Lucas told me that our first episode, we released it February 14th, 2020. And it's now, today is February 15th, 2022. So it has been 2 years of trying to, gosh darn, make it. And Lucas, gotta ask you, after 2 years, have you made it yet?
Emphatic no. But there's always a but. I think I did the most actor thing I've done. You know, they say like you'll feel like an actor when you get an agent, when you go to an acting class, when you go on set. But no, I think I did the most vain actor thing that I could. I dyed my hair.
What? Oh, you dyed your hair?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. I guess it does look blacker than usual.
Yeah. Dude, I just got so tired of the grays and the alien grays. Come in peace. But no, I got tired of the gray hairs because I'm like, I just don't look like I should have that many gray hairs. So I took matters into my own hands and I went to this Japanese place that's actually in Koreatown, and she did a marvelous job. I'm not used to it still because I used to have so many grays, as Josh can probably attest to it. But I feel a little bit better. Haven't gotten any auditions since I dyed my hair though. But
Wait, how long has it been since you dyed your hair?
I dyed it on Feb 9th.
Okay.
Okay. So 6 days ago. Yeah, 6 days ago. And let's see. I'm gonna throw it to you, Josh, because we have more things to talk about in season 2 finale. But Mr. Josh Young, have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet, but I feel like, same with you as well, Lucas. It's been 2 years. I feel like we've definitely made it more than we did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to be said. Now, if it's, dramatically more, depends, on our goals and what we feel like we've accomplished. But I feel like, I'm saying a lot, but not too many people know. But like, I feel like there has been a bit of an improvement, and yet also not so much with the pandemic and everything. Opportunities getting less, and then lockdowns, and I would say maybe in the last year I haven't done that many shows, so I feel like I haven't been making it as much as I should have or could have, and yet I still feel relatively confident in my stage time or stage presence in the shows that I did do. And I feel like the show I did in Vancouver at the end of December, towards the end of December, right before like the Omicron variant lockdown Vancouver.
Yeah.
That one I did like 12 minutes of material, and I took my time. I was really just, actually didn't feel rushed, so I could stay in the moment more. That felt like progress still in making it. So sometimes, even though I would say like I didn't do that many spots or I didn't do that many shows, with that last show and the progression of maturity through it, it still felt like I was progressing further in stage presence and in writing. So it's been 2 years. I haven't made it, but I feel like I do have the tools to. And now that, you know, Omicron is finally, things are opening up just today. A lot of different restrictions are coming undone, or mandates and stuff. And things are opening up more in Ontario, and then in also rest of Canada, that it feels like this spring and this summer, I feel like we're coming out of it and things are going to open up, and things and more opportunities to do comedy shows, and then probably more opportunities to do auditions and like more productions. I feel like coming out 2 years, you know, it looks hopeful. It looks hopeful. And yeah, man, haven't made it yet, but I definitely think the next year is going to be a good year. And when we come back in series 3, gonna have a lot more to talk about. That's how I feel.
That's what I realized with this whole thing. And I'll be honest, in these past like 2 or 3 weeks, I have not been like the best person, probably maybe to even be around. Maybe, I mean, if you were in our inner circle and everything like that, you might know that this will be the last episode that Josh and I will both be in Toronto for, as I'll be moving back indefinitely to Vancouver. And so, yeah, this will be a new setting come season 3 and everything. But the stress of the move, and also I also injured myself too recently.
Really? What happened?
Yeah, I messed up my shoulder because I was working out too hard. It's such an old person injury, but like I was shoulder pressing, and then I guess I just overused it, and then like I couldn't do anything anymore. And then now I'm in Cairo and all that stuff, like chiropractor. I'm not in Cairo, Egypt.
Nice.
Thank you. Nice. But all that to say is that this whole thing, as I'm sure you can attest to it too, Josh, this whole creative process takes so much damn time. And it's the whole process of being patient, but also like maintaining expectations and understanding how you can be yourself in this downtime. Because essentially there is no downtime. It's always about like what you make of it, but it's how to stay motivated, how to keep yourself focused, and basically how to keep yourself in belief in yourself at the same time. So it's just something that I've really realized within these past 2 years of doing this along with you. It's that, remember what we said in like the first 2 episodes? We said like 500 subscribers. That's our goal for series 1. We said like 100 episodes, easy. Yeah, done. But remember how hard it was to even get 52 in 1 year? Like
it was
grinded.
Hard. Yeah, it was hard. And now that I look back to it, it's like I can't believe we actually did it, because now it's like now switching it to once every 2 weeks, it already feels like maybe that length of time is just okay enough to really get one episode out. And I think in the last few months, you know, with life and everything happening, we've been playing around with more time with the schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, 52, that is like, what were we doing? There was like, how did we do that? And then also it was like, what else was going on in our lives that allowed us to do that?
Yeah.
But that's why I still think, you know, doing this the first year and now series 2, you know, it's an accomplishment. We should be happy, especially because this episode is episode 70, I believe.
Yes, sir.
The big 70. This is the Horcrux episodes. But yeah, nice. 70. It's actually granted, I think when we first started, we saying it's like, oh, we can do 100 easy. And now I'm thinking 70 was already pretty hard, man.
Yeah. Can I just give some here, Josh? I mean, you know about like our behind the scenes stuff. So I'm going to tell the audiences a little bit about like how, what do you call it? How we have struggled a little bit, but also at the same time, we overcame it. So for episode 70, you know, we tried to get some guests and everything like that, right? You know, to really like send it off. Although this is great, Josh. You and I, we're day ones, man. We started this.
It's the dream team.
It's the dream team, right?
All right.
So, of course, without naming any names or anything like that. We did try to get some guests to come on and all that stuff. And I'll be honest, I think Josh, you'll agree with me. They're pretty big names, right?
Yeah, big names.
Yeah,
we're big game hunters. But I was gonna say big fishers or shooters, or I don't know. But anyways, we want it. We only want the best.
Exactly. And by all means, like I don't need to be self-deprecating, but like we're a pretty small show. So
yeah.
But I mean, we shoot high. That's the whole thing, right?
Exactly. Hey, if you shoot for the moon and miss, you still land amongst the stars in a cold, broken starship, drifting in froze and freeze-dried.
But like, I never understood that statement, because even the distance between the Earth and the moon, you're not going to hit any star systems.
Well, if you think about it, it was probably, I forgot exactly who said it, but it was definitely quoted by somebody who was a creative, and who knows if science was that pertinent in the creative's mind. But it's all a metaphor. It's all a metaphor. Nothing has to be taken so, literal. And that's what these agents and auditions will tell you. Hey, you did a great job, but we were just looking for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact they cut you the second you left a room.
Exactly. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Scott. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So back to the hunt for the big guests and everything like that. There was, we asked a few, and one of them was, I was literally shooting for the moon for that one. And I'll say he, I mean, there's billions of he's in the world, actually read that message, and I was like pretty happy, not expecting for anything. But the fact that he read the initial message, then I followed up again just to say, hey, blank name. It'd be great to have you on. He read that again too, but I get it. He's like over 1 million followers on Instagram and everything like that. So he's busy. Granted,
but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Send you shoot your shot. You do the standard follow up. You always got to follow up.
Always.
And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work out. But you did what you got to do. You know. And hey, thank you, Lucas, for being the unsung hero of this podcast, getting some great guests for this series on. And I couldn't have done this with you. Sorry, without you. That came out. I couldn't have done this podcast without you. You're this podcast rock,
bro.
And enough self-flating each other.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah. So okay, and then after I was this close to saying the guy's name. After didn't get that person, reached out to another person, also like 1 million followers on Instagram and everything like that. Reached out, didn't get a message. Followed up with a friend to reach out for me to that person. That person turned us down because we can't afford that person's rate. And that's when I realized, okay, one day, Josh, if we were to ever make it, because I think the rate, right? Because I told you it, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair rate to have?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think so.
That's our going rate.
I feel like, but because I think that was also a good example and a good, what is it? A showcase of what it actually takes, It's like we definitely should shoot our shot, see what happens, right? Uh-huh. But then there are realities of the business. If we're big game hunting, right? We're shooting for the moon. You still have to be aware that it's like coming on to our little podcast that could, where it's just the two of us talking in our rooms, and having guests on, and like loving all of our guests for coming onto the podcast and sharing their experience. But it's true, once some of the big players out there, their time is money. Their time is their effort. It's their careers, their business, and they worked hard to get their following.
For sure.
So they have that value and they've earned it. So, you have to be more selective and then more careful with how you put yourself out there. And I think it was an important lesson. It was also helped us change our expectations, right? Of our guests, or like of who we look for guests, and just move forward from it. And I think it's part of the business.
Totally.
And it was good to know. I mean, I'd rather know that, that this is part of it, as opposed to, not know. So just goes to show you guys, coming to a podcast, you do have to set your expectations as well.
Yeah. And Josh, you know what, man? It was still kind of cool. I'll be honest. It was still kind of cool to be like Hollywood out. Not gonna lie. Maybe it's like my own like masochist kind of stuff. Like pain for pleasure or anything like that. But it's like still kind of cool. It's like, okay, we're kind of big time now. It's like, oh, if you want the big talent on, this is the price you pay. So it pay to play. I really do want to give out like a shout out to like our list of guests for season 2 and everything like that. Dude, we had Vong start off in season 2.
Yeah.
With his stories about like living in gangster Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
Like, his clip about like him getting run over by a car and then his friend just mocking him the whole time. I still replay that clip and I just laugh, man. That sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible. And yet at the same time, I feel like in a comedian's mind, it's like you would be disappointed if something, if something funny didn't come out of those situations.
Yeah.
It's why I think it's like, even if I was in like kind of a terrible accent or whatever, knock on wood, but like if for some reason it was funny from a certain perspective, like I think I'd want to be able to laugh at myself about it. And I think that's even in the worst situations and worst scenarios out there, like just based on how bad an event can happen, it's like you need those extremes for funny and humor and juxtaposition of those experiences to it will just somehow come out funny from a specific perspective. And that's like the whole, existence of comedians or whatever. But that was a funny clip. I'm happy you shared it with us. And it definitely started off strong, our podcast series 2, because we were also putting out the Fresh Rice comedy series.
Yes, sir.
Which was fun.
Dude, then we got Caleb, music master extraordinaire there. Man, honestly, if I can ever be as talented as that guy, like I just take it and run with it. But like, that's why I am not a musician at the same time. But man, so humble. He says he keeps on displaying things poorly. I'm like, man, what are you talking about, man? Forget it. Way too humble. Good guy, though. Good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Nick Fernandes. Josh, lay it down. Nick Fernandes.
Oh, yes. Fellow Fresh Ricer. He definitely came on, shared some of his experiences on the road as a amateur comedian on the road, really grinding it. And yeah, man, I respect Nick a lot for putting himself out there and really, making it takes grind. It takes effort. You gotta go for those, long drives to spots when you can. And he's been doing it. He's been doing it for the last year. And all the power to him. Appreciate him coming on. Definitely check out his comedy set for sure.
Man, next we got up like Vanessa Chiu. I was about to say my girlfriend's last name, Chiu. Man, she's a multifaceted person. Like, of course, a radio DJ, but a grief coach too, and everything like that. And just she does it all, man. So, I mean, I just can't imagine doing like you were talking about like Nick doing the grind about like going to small towns and everything like that, and then doing your shows there. But like Vanessa actually did it and like did small town BC to do her radio shows and everything. So I hope she keeps on going because she has something special that I'm sure like fans really connect to her too.
Absolutely. And yeah, having that radio perspective was was great. And voice acting and the grief counseling that she also provides services she provides. So it's like if you're wanting to make it in radio, in that kind of podcasting as well, then yeah, check that episode out for sure.
Yeah,
because it's a grind. She didn't get to it easy. No, it took time.
Yeah,
it took time. It took cold northern BC winters.
Speaking of like latest BC Vancouver radio news, Kid Carson, he got canned. I didn't even know he was still on the air.
Yeah, Kid Carson, man. It's funny. It's like also sometimes it's like with these radio personalities, like Kid Carson. I remember Kid Carson from when I was a kid in the car, father and son.
Is that where it came from? No, it can't.
No, that's I'm pretty sure that's just his nickname and stage name.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember listening to him, and it's like I recognize his voice. Like you recognize all these radio personalities' voices. But if you were to show me a picture of them, I could not tell you. Yeah. Right. It's so interesting. It's like that's one of the rare relationships people have where it's like you recognize the voice. You have such a day-to-day daily experience with the voice. But if they walked by you on the street, like you wouldn't notice. And if you think about it, that's almost like perfect.
Oh, for sure.
Celebrity status. Because it's like you go to work, people know you. And then if you tell people that who you are, then you can pick and choose how people realize, oh, yeah, right. You are the radio person. Like, oh, wow, you're a celebrity, yada, yada. But nobody will bother you on the street.
No.
Nobody really recognizes you. And you can just enjoy being out like a normal person without people like knowing who you are. Yeah, just be a radio personality that somehow is number one in your region or nationally without people knowing who you are visually.
Speaking of more behind the scenes there, Shirley Yip. Oof. Man, that girl has writing chops, man. Like, keep it up, Shirley. Get that. She recently, oh man, this makes me sound so bad. She won, or she was nominated for that award at the Austin Television Film Fest. Everything like that. Right. Yeah. Awesome. Like, keep it up. House of Fortune. It's going to be a good script.
Looking forward to it. I mean, hey, we need a new wave of content out there. Yeah, we need it.
We need it. All right. William Wu. What you got, Josh?
William Wu. My old friend. Back in the church days when we were just kids. But yeah, no, real proud of that guy. Real proud of that guy for really, essentially, he took the path that I almost wish I took when I was younger.
You were looking to go into film school?
I was like intrigued with film. Like if anything in high school, like that was one of my dreams and stuff. Yeah. But I guess I just never really found the support or like felt like it was like a viable option. So I went back into like SFU and then in the business. But yeah, no, it's either way, like going into film school, you know, when you're 18, 19, it's like that is a big step. That's a big decision as well. Yeah. Because it's like it's not certain that you're going to get a job out of it when you come out. But it is something where you follow your passion and you dedicate yourself and you focus on this as being what you want to do. And that takes courage. And I was really proud of him to come out of it. And he directed a great short film, and he grinded it afterwards to promote it as well. And yeah, looking forward to what he does in the next few years. He's a young guy. You know, he's getting into the industry and he's working his way up in the industry. So
it's so well spoken, man. That's what I realized on that episode. Like, really well. Every time we said something, it's like, oh, thank you. I was like, oh, I guess we're all gonna compliment each other right now. Okay, good shit.
Yeah,
good shit.
No, he's definitely very thoughtful about his experiences. Yeah. And our questions, and he gave as earnest and honest answers as possible. So if you're interested in directing, check out our episode with William Wu.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go through this a little bit faster here. All right. Okay. Ronald Hay. What you got? What you got on that one? Ronald Hay.
Ronald. Hey,
Dude, Jerry D that we need it all in life.
exactly. He's a teacher. He's a comedian.
Perfect.
He's a podcast god. Actually, I'm not too sure. But hey, he also has a great podcast called Teachers Hotline. And yeah, he's doing a bit of everything. Last on the episode as well, he was talking about getting into acting and stuff. Did he follow up with you on that?
He did DM me a few more things, and fingers crossed. I hope he's still pursuing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also really incorporated it into his teaching career, teaching life as well. He set up a show for his own students, taught them how to approach writing jokes and performing, writing a set, and then he was able to do a show with all of them. And that's like a great experience to be able to do when you're young, because then you're trying different things, you're exposed to different forms of expression. So that was great to have him on there to kind of share his experience on that.
Nice. All right, man. We got Drew McKay next. God damn. If anything, this podcast has really helped me like reconnect with old high school friends and everything. Like you did with William, and now my turn with Drew McKay there. Him and I, man, with our band, we traveled all around BC playing secular venues and Christian venues too. I mean, a show is a show, whatever. A show is a show.
John 3:16. John 3:16.
Yeah.
With a lighter.
Oh my God.
Mimicking a lighter.
Stop it, Josh. Stop it. You're killing me. Anyways, we did. It was just cool to reconnect. And he's still making music underneath the moniker of the Drew McKay Band. So watch him, look out for him. He's going to do big things, man. The guy's a multi-instrumentalist, incredibly talented. Really happy to reconnect with him. And then next we got Jai Day. And to be honest, I met this guy in Hong Kong, and he was one of the first guys that I ever was introduced to as an actor. It's always weird. It's like people shake your hands and, like, what do you do? I'm an accountant. I don't know. I work in marketing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But he literally just introduced himself as an actor. And I was like, you know who you look like? Willem Dafoe. And he's like, oh, I never thought of that. But props to Jai Day. He's still doing it, working with the likes of like Jackie Chan and everything like that. So props to him for keeping on doing this. It's not easy, especially in Hong Kong. So yeah, props to you, bro. Okay. What do you have to say about Umberley, Josh?
Wow.
I know.
Starstruck. Because we got one of the most underrated characters in Ginny and Georgia.
Yes.
Underrated. Expecting big things in season 2 coming on the podcast. And hey, again, it's like, you guys got to shoot your shot. You never know what happens. She was very generous with coming on and talking to us about her experiences. And yeah, it was like, wow, couldn't have. I think both of us were definitely nervous about that episode. Yeah. So it was great having her on. Yeah, can't say more, can't say less. Just got to say, wow, right, Lucas? How did you feel?
I was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
I messaged her and then really did not expect anything, to be honest. And then when she actually read it and responded, blew my mind. And I was like to Josh, although of course we prepare for every episode and everything like that, but like we really wanted to make sure we were on our A game on there. So thanks again, Umberley, for coming on, and can't wait to watch season 2. All right. Oh, your guy. Well, our guy. Content. Josh, take it away.
Oh, we need some of that recurring content every series.
Exactly.
So yeah, my old buddy from Austria days on exchange came back on, shared his new single out there as well. He put out a couple other ones since then. Talked about his music video, very creative music video. And yeah, it was a great catching up, great seeing where he's been. And he was like I think he was our first recurring guest as well. So it's, it's all part of the motif of making it what happens, from every step of the journey. It was about a year since he last came on. And then we just caught up and saw how he was doing making it. And that's what we want to see. What happens as we go from series to series, year from year, as we're on this making it process, that we'll see how everybody's doing. So it's great having him back on, and definitely check out his music on YouTube and Spotify streaming services. Content with a K.
Okay. All right. Then we got Steffi Toupe. Man, there's just some times that you just get the good fortune of meeting good people. We randomly met. Her producer asked me to audition for her short film, and I, of course, said yes. And as we just got to know more and more about each other and everything like that, our relationship just grew a lot more, because after wrapping and everything like that, we still went out for a few drinks with the cast and crew and everything. And you just meet some incredible people that you really confide with artistically and also creatively, but also as a good person too. So, of course, I want to thank Steffi for coming and meeting in my life, but I'm also going to thank the good Lord Jesus Christ for aligning our paths together. So,
wow,
thank you, baby Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to go with Phoebe Mew on this, another recurring guest there.
Yes.
Her show Upload is greenlit for season 2, and hopefully will be released soon, because she said they finished filming and everything like that. But
nice,
dude, she's a force, man, and literally nothing is gonna stop her. Like, I can't see anything but success for her. So, prove us right, Phoebe, because you got this. Okay, you got this.
Yeah, I mean, she is like, hey, between episode 1 of her coming on and this episode, latest one coming on, she was on Riverdale, man.
Riverdale.
I mean, it's like, hey, we'll see when those big markers come in, those opportunities come in. But yeah, it was great to see, great to catch up, great to chat, and then talk about, all of our experiences. That was also the episode where I was able to talk about the one little hyperventilating experience I had about that streaming service, or the adult animation type of thing. So that didn't pan out, but hey, it was great. It was still good. Also, expectation setting. Always got to set those expectations. But yeah, that was also the episode I was able to talk about that. And she was also able to we were able to kind of shoot the shit on that process as well. So
no doubt, man.
Thank you, Phoebe. We'll see you in series 3.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Yes.
Yo, we talked about this before we started recording, but next up, man, we had Grace Chan come on. Josh, what can you say about Grace Chan?
Oh, super nice. Really, I felt really genuine with her stories about her experiences as well. And got into wrestling. We talked about wrestling. You wouldn't expect it, but she's a huge fan of wrestling. So it was a great interview. I think it was a great podcast, and short and sweet. We were able to do it, and it was really. I think it was a great conversation. I felt like we got to know each other on the podcast. And Lucas, man, you were definitely hyped about it. And how was your experience? Come on, you got to share.
Oh, of course, man. Again, we hadn't talked in a long time, so when I messaged her, of course, I did not expect a reply, or she'd probably not even look at it. So generous with her time. I know she's incredibly busy, as you should be. If you're like a public figure in Hong Kong, especially, props to you for always booking great jobs, Grace. But incredibly gracious with her time and everything, and just so good to reconnect. And I'm not going to say the full story, but Josh, I remember our time for that episode and how I kind of got the time wrong.
Hey, the earth is round. What are we going to do? Because it's time zones and
yes.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I am so happy because, you in every live production, because of course this is not live, but in every production that needs some creative planning, you always expect things to, slightly go off the rails. But this thing, a mistake by me, could have really, really done us wrong. But I'm happy it all worked out. I'm happy Grace came on, and just whoever is planning on making a podcast of themselves and like getting, people with really limited time slots, like make sure you get your time zones right, because otherwise things could get kooky really quickly. Okay, Matthew Sang, what you got, man?
Matthew Sang. I mean, what a guy. We got a little in-depth look into the art world, a little behind the curtain peek of the whole art scene. Talked about NFTs. What is an NFT? I don't know. I still don't know. Actually, I do know a little bit, but it's like, it's weird right now in the NFT marketplace. But hey, yeah, we were able to talk to him. He shared his experience going through art school. I don't think we had too many people talking about the art element. I know we had Ben come on to talk about graphic design, that element for art, and also similar with Matthew as well. He had a art graphic design background as well, but then he goes into curating and managing art galleries now. So it was I think it was a great experience talking with somebody in that side, which is also just as elusive in kind of the making it trajectory.
Yeah.
Trajectory of that world. So yeah, it was great. He was very generous, sharing his thoughts and experiences as well.
And I got to shout out to Matthew again too. You had never met him in person, right?
No. I mean, again, it's like kind of searching through our network, reaching out and seeing like he had a really interesting background and experience, and hey, reached out to see if he was available.
Awesome. Dude, I got to give this next guy a major shout. Mr. Aaron Au. Again, if you did not watch that episode, I haven't met him in person or anything like that. I only prior to the email that I'd sent him, that was our only correspondence before then. I remember I had saw him at the Vancouver Asian Film Fest panel among other producers and everything like that. And I heard him talk, and he was so eloquent in his speech about representation and everything like that. And I really needed to get him on this show. So I emailed him, didn't get a reply yet. Then I messaged him on IG, and he says, "Oh, hey, I actually got your email. I actually don't check IG, but for some reason he did." And again, like what you said, follow up, right? Follow up.
Got to follow up.
And then he agreed to come on, and we just made sure that we again brought our A game, because it's a person that literally does not know Josh or I. So just that's the whole thing about this great community. It's so down to help, but at the same time, like, make sure you make it worth their while, because they're putting in time and commitment into trusting us with their story too.
Yeah. And he definitely gave us the lowdown on, Asian content in the world right now, and in the industry right now. So it was great having him on. Also, if anybody wants to reach out to him, definitely email him directly if you got some spec scripts or ideas, or you're creative and you want to pitch him some projects or just send materials. He's always open. He's looking for the people out there, the culture. Got to represent the culture. So go reach out to him. Shoot your shot. Set your expectations, but don't stop making it happen.
On that note, for episode 70, I got a shout out to my favorite guest, my co-host right there, Josh.
Oh.
And I don't mean
I thought as parents of this podcast, we don't pick favorites, Lucas, of course, but then as parents, amongst our guests, but we're each other's favorite, because it's all about commitment.
Yep.
To the podcast, and day in, day out, week in, week out, bi-weekly in and bi-weekly out.
Yeah, man.
For the last 2 years.
And before I get Well, no, fuck it. I'll get sentimental. Right before coming on this show, I was telling Josh this. I was telling a bunch of stuff. Two chairs that I just sat on for my whole workday, a basket that I used for my lunch earlier today, a red pot that I cooked countless bowls of congee with, a flour bin that my girlfriend has used constantly for all her baking needs and everything like that. And it just more and more grew on to me that this is becoming more and more real. That, when this episode comes out, that I'll be already gone into a new city, and there's many things mentally that I'm going to take away from this city. Of course, a lot of the physical stuff is going to be gone, but one of these things that I will take back with me mentally is always this show and the commitment that we both had with each other.
Yeah.
And literally the hours and hours that we did plan, execute, edit, push this thing out. And Josh, I am just so incredibly grateful to have you along with this too.
Oh man, you're gonna make me cry and break through this monotone, emotionless shell that I put out in front of me, where I can't compute emotions properly. But you know what? Everything you said there, I really do take it to heart, because my time in Toronto will not be the same as well. I came to Toronto. It's like, if you think about it, of course this podcast was going to happen, because all those auspicious moments that happened in our friendship, our relationship as co-hosts, it was all related to Toronto. And when I came to Toronto for the first time, just passing through for a few weeks just to get a sense of the city if I wanted to come. First night, it was meeting up with you and our mutual friend, Andrew, at Yuck Yucks. Mm-hmm. And that was the first night as well that I realized, like, whoa, there's this comedy show just had like 12 comedians on there. I didn't expect that long of a show, mm-hmm. because in Vancouver, all the shows that I went to were like 5 or 6 comedians. That's it. Mm-hmm. And this was the first night. It's like, whoa, the comedy scene here is like so much bigger. Just the shows are much longer. Mm-hmm. And we were front and center, and we shared that experience. That's how I first met you. It was in this creative space. And it was later on, who knew? I couldn't have expected to go into comedy in Toronto, but coming out here, you never know what happens. And then we started this podcast idea in mm-hmm. line to go watch The Irishman at TIFF, mm-hmm. the TIFF theater. And again, auspicious again. And then we're starting to do this. We managed to do 5 episodes 2 years ago in your apartment before mm-hmm. a pandemic shut down the entire world.
Yeah.
And that was all of those experiences, man, in my last 4 or 5 years in Toronto. Like, some great memories were with you. We're going to miss you in Toronto, but I know that we're going to stay close through this podcast. We're going to stay close as friends. We're going to keep making it. And I just wish you nothing but the best in the transition from Toronto to Vancouver and another phase of your life. I mean, it's a big deal. It really is. And like, to be able to be on this podcast and talk about it and be able to see through the episodes as we grow. Yeah. I think it's also a blessing. So thank you, man, for all your hard work. The work that you put in, the work behind the scenes, motivating each other to keep this drive going. And man, you've got open skies in front of, I'm butchering it, but I see good things. I see good things in your future, man.
I don't want to be a broken record and all that stuff, but to all the same to you, man. I can't imagine doing this with anyone else. And I'll take a piece of this with me wherever I go, man. This is special, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to all the listeners out there, I mean, thanks. I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. Like, thanks for listening. Like, this is 2 years in. Our little baby potentially should have already walked by now, and hopefully said at least a few words. So, they're in daycare right now, this little 2-year-old. So thanks for coming along the ride with us, man. It's been a 2 years.
2-year journey. and we've gotten older, or in your case, in this episode, you've gotten slightly younger with the hair by dyeing your hair. But like, yeah, I mean, I was in my late 20s, your early 30s, and I'm entering my 30s. And then we'll see where this podcast goes in a few years. We'll be older, younger men. Older young men. And then you think we can make 10 years?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, man. This is only the beginning. Like hell, 8 more years of this. Easy.
Yeah,
easy.
8 more years of this. I mean, we're gonna stick with like, bi-weekly, and if bi-weekly doesn't work, then we'll just do monthly, and then we'll do seasonal, and then we'll do half year, and then we'll do annual catch-ups, and it will go until we die. We're gonna do it because making it, you got to make it. It's the journey. You go until you can't go anymore, or you quit. Well, but both are valid.
We ain't quitters, bro.
No, we're not quitters. We choose to make decisions that are separate, that will eventually be different based on our position in life in a few years. But we're not quitters. Just make different decisions.
I wanted to cap this, of course, like we do the word association game with other people, but I wanted to do a would you rather, but I can't think of a scenario right now.
Oh, of a would you rather?
Yeah.
Would you rather be famous? Sorry. No, be well known for your acting, or for this podcast? Because we know this podcast is going to pop off soon. Am I right?
Yeah, sure. You're coming along for the ride, right? Like you mean this podcast as it is?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! I don't want to go through this alone. Hell yeah, I'll take the podcast.
That's right, baby. We're gonna be the Asian Joe Rogans.
Yeah.
Of the. Yeah. Except, well, I don't know. We'll do our own research, and maybe we'll do better research. I mean, yeah. Anyways, it's the podcast world. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I mean, we appreciate our current listeners who have listened to us ramble in this series 2 finale for quite a bit yet. But how about this? I guess I have this other thing where I would ask you, through series 2, in the last year, what would you say is one of the things that you learned, through our whole series of guests? What's something you took from it? And like, what is something that you're looking forward to in series 3, which will essentially just be like the next year?
I'm going to answer that first question first. And it really came to light. Of course, we heard it in different ways along the guests, but it really came to real explicit vision in Grace Chan's episode, was that in our own strive to whatever make it, we also inadvertently bring our families and our close ones along for the ride too, good and or bad. In Grace's case, I'm sure a lot of it was good, but like she also said, like the pressures and the gossip around her family, like really kind of not tear them apart, but also like made it really stressful for them at the same time.
Right.
And that's what I realized with this. So long as I am pursuing something that is purely my passions, other people around me are also going to be affected too. So I think I just have to be more aware of that, because it is not solely my journey anymore. This thing also affects Vanessa. So I just have to be more aware of that. Sorry, what was your second question?
Second question is like, what's something right now where you see in like series 3 when we come back? Maybe a new, like we're going to be like a new structure. Who knows? We can play around with it in series 3, maybe a new look. We're going to have a new look because you'll be in Vancouver. But yeah, what's something in series 3 that like you're looking forward to?
Although word association was great, a new cap-off game.
Oh, so you're thinking like we should change up the cap off. So we're not going to do word association anymore. We're going to find another game. Okay.
Yeah. Like in Tiger Belly, like unhelpful advice it's been like 7 years. They still do it.
Yeah, it's a solid cap off question. We should find a question and then just get into it.
Yeah.
To cap ours up, but something that's uniquely making it. That's not,
You know what? We should really like broadcast our email address more so that people can actually send us stuff. We'll do that for season 3. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, because our email is like HWMIY podcast@gmail.com or something.
No, it's have we made it yet podcast at gmail.com. Literally word for word written out. Have we made it yet podcast at gmail.com, which, is not the easiest to write. But then if we did HWMIY podcast, we just get a lot of fan mail about how I Met Your Father is not as good as How I Met Your Mother. So it's just, there could be that risk, but that would be interesting.
Did you just burp?
Yes, that was a deep guttural burp coming from the depths of the city of Toronto. Yeah,
Josh,
I don't know what that is.
the first question for you, what have you learned?
I'm half thinking if I should wait for this sound to stop.
Are you still going?
Yeah, it's coming out of both ends right now. Oh, it's subsiding.
Oh, just mute it or
there
put
we
it
go.
on mic.
I made chili a few days ago.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's all coming. But yeah, okay. First question: what did I learn, or what did I take the most out of series 2? Is that the highs and lows of this process, as much as you can say, set your expectations, be cognizant of these opportunities. Definitely like the experience of getting cold emailed about potentially doing a voice audition for an adult animation from a streaming service. That was like suddenly all these like anxieties came in and these stresses. And it was something where it's like, oh, out of the work you did, you never know what's going to happen. This opportunity might come up. And then it's like, Eminem's song, Lose Yourself. Yeah. Where it's like, you only got one shot, one opportunity. But really, it's like when you go through it, you still have to try to reframe yourself, maintain your expectations. But sometimes you have to go through the initial anxiety of something brand new in order to come out of it and realize, it's like, now I know what that's about, what that experience is.
Yep.
So that even if it doesn't pan out, that's still a learning experience, and everything is a learning experience. I think.
I love it.
Just from that experience in the last year, and then be able to talk about it a bit on this podcast. I think that was something that I felt was like a roller coaster ride experience, because I'd never experienced anything like that before. In terms of this making it, like I'm going to be honest. Since the beginning, starting this, where I say it's like, oh, have you made it? Have you made it yet? I'm not even sure I fully believe that I would make it. In the beginning, like I didn't feel like, I felt like I was doing some cool stuff. That doesn't mean I actually felt like I really was going to make it. Like sometimes we're going to say this, we're going to push ourselves, is like, but how much of that actual belief is there? You know? And sometimes you do need some validating moments, some validating events to give you the sense it's like, oh, what I am doing is working a bit. And that whole experience did help me validate that like my material was funny, and it was funny enough to catch the eye of a random industry producer, casting director. And that was enough to like help validate. It's like, oh, now it's like, keep trying and see what happens. And yeah, I think that also gave me a greater sense that making it is possible.
Dude, it totally is potential, man. Did you add that guy on LinkedIn?
Oh, no, I don't think I did.
Okay.
But I don't even know if that's like necessary, because like my LinkedIn is all just actual, like just professional stuff. It's like there's no actual, work on it. And it wasn't like the LinkedIn is what really caught their attention anyways. But yeah, I think from there, like moving on to season 3, I think it's more seeing as things open up, the ability to get more into a habit of performing comedy, as opposed to last year series 2 timeline. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to maybe like dabbling a bit more in actual, the agency and the voice acting. I know you've encouraged me about that, and I think that's something I should just start off by going through the processes of getting set up there and see what happens.
Yeah, man.
See what happens.
You already have a setup.
Something to look for. Exactly. I've got the equipment. I've got some modicum of experience using a microphone. So looking forward to that in series 3, and looking forward to, who knows, maybe a revamped series with a potentially new theme song. I don't know. I've got some people working on some new theme, maybe a new intro music. So
okay.
Yeah, series 3 is going to be new and improved.
We love you guys. Thanks for watching. Josh, I love you, brother.
I love you, brother.
All right. Season 2 signing off. Peace.
Peace.